Begging me like Blues, please. Come on, baby, do me. Come on, baby, take me. Roll it up in loose leaf. That paper ain't no money, but it got me feeling funny. For the chips, I'm hungry. When I bust, I'm getting ugly. I ain't talking about my nut, I mean the casino on me. DC, 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 CCP to the left. DC, DC, dirt shit up to dirt shit up to me die. New balance on my feet, new balance on the beat. True bench trying to never take defeat. I'm gonna everlast in your mind when you think how they did it, how they never think. I don't got truly, but I be icier than the ice rink. Skating around, I don't really skate, though. Acts like a close man, what you really doing about God in my house and I see his nose. Just stand where you been, boy, you really stink like a poser. You act like I like some lit. I'm chill, but you ain't with it. When I go off with my kin, yeah, like ceiling flint, we don't stop, so better get up and get with it. DC, DC, dirt shit up to dirt shit up till we die. Bitch, do I ain't inside. Shit real, no DC, 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 CCP to the left. DC, DC, dirt shit up till we die.
Spray paint looks like Andrew WK. I see you like a 12th grade essay. Hard worker, I deserve me raise. Party hard, then I'm first on the job site. Dash low from a 6, just to know why. Pills wrapped in tin foil like a clone die. DTA, you sketch like graphite. I walked through the front door, I didn't get an invite. Snot in my cup, pour up and sick as soon time. I bug out this pill like a pesticide. To his pestilence, so I pray to the all high. Beat the bam on my waist, that's roll tide. Big oil on my side, I'm so fried. I'm so one. Yes, bro, it's big kilo over the pack. Going crazy. All 2021, all 2022. Hold on.
Motherfucking gang in the chat right now. Gangy. This is about to be so lit, bro. The kenopro79 interview. Everybody turn up. Let's do this shit. Let's do this shit, viewers. Drop W's in the chat for kenopro79. It's all about to go down, y'all. Keep dropping shit in the chat. Keno really the most based out here. Kino really putting on for Idaho. Let's go. It's almost that time, viewers. The Kino Pro interview. All right, viewers, let's do this. It's 9:53. We got about 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and play one more video.
It's Kino. It's Kino. It's Kino. It's Mark. Damn. It's Kino. It's Kino.
I'll ask Kino if he wants to flash the titty. We'll see.
Because I got so much steam. That bitch wanna fuck with me cause she sees all my cream. She don't want me, she just want my back.
If Kino pops a titty, I'll definitely pop a titty. It's like a mutual thing.
In the back of the club, looking for a mark ass scrub. I can turn to a dub. I can turn into a lick. I pull up with my stick. She says that I got a lot of drip. She says that I look like a hit. I gotta get the shit on my head. You know that I got a big clip, and I got a big dick. Put them both to your lips, put them both to your mouth. I'm flying right to the south. Gotta see my boyfriend, yeah. I'ma turn her around, turn the bitch out. I'm a pimp, it's Mac, and man, I got it in my name. My dad gave me that shit, I was born. You can contain all the swag coming out my brain. Use a bitch, yeah.
Hey, go ahead, fool.
All right, boys, it's time. It's fuck. It's go time. I'm calling him up now.
Yeah. Bitch.
Bro, don't buy feats unless it's like. No, DOMD would be a fire feat, honestly. All right, Kino Pro, let's go.
Is it working?
Yes, it is working, bro. You are live on Twitch.
Oh my goodness, hello.
Yeah, bro, we got 6 whole viewers right now. Shit's going really good.
Oh, bro, that's as good as my Instagram lives go, so there we go.
Hell yeah. It's like my 4th day out here, too.
Dude, I was thinking, like, you just started this shit, bro.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna do really good. I'm gonna keep interviewing people. Like, it should go really good.
Yeah, bro. I'm stoked for you, bro. I'm happy to be one of the first, bro. I'm honored.
Yeah, man. So let's get right into it. The first question I wanted to ask you is, where did you grow up?
Idaho, bro. I've lived in Idaho my entire life. North Idaho, Kootenai County. It's uh, hard to explain what it's like, bro. It's not like the middle of nowhere, but it's fucking weird. It's like a tourist town surrounded by farmland, and it's right next to Spokane, Washington, which is like it's a lot like Detroit and Spokane. But I live in Idaho, which is like 15 minutes away from that. So I kind of live in like a farmy, suburby area outside of an area that's like Detroit.
Okay, cool. So what are the people like over there in Idaho?
Well, when I was a kid, it was like all white people.
Yeah,
For the most
yeah.
part, at least it was all white people and like, Mexican people. Like, there's a lot of Mexicans here, not a lot of like other types of Hispanics. Like, no Dominican. Like everybody on the East Coast, they're all like Dominican or Puerto Rican or something. There's nobody like that here. Everybody's Mexican here, but yeah, there's a lot of Mexicans and white people growing up. Now it's more like it.
Hey, my bad. We kind of cut out for a second because I was turning on my camera for you. Yeah.
Okay, white hick.
I got everything. You were talking about like there's Mexicans and not really any other types of South Americans.
Yeah, that was really it, bro. Growing up, it was either just Mexicans and Hicks. Now it's, I mean, all sorts of people. But that's how it was when I was a kid. It was like barely any black people. That's for sure. I'll admit that.
Yeah. All right. Well, so do you still live in Idaho? I'm guessing you do.
Yeah, yeah. I live in Idaho. So.
Okay, and so a lot of people they know that you work with a lot of people and that you're really close to a lot of people, but they don't know like who stays in Idaho.
Oh yeah, bro. Fucking So I'll list the people that people might know first, and then I'll just name all my friends that rap, and so I'll put them on. I mean, people might not know who they are, but Prostitution, aka 687 Ho, he lives here. Fucking and we actually met through the internet. Like we didn't even know each other in real life until the rap stuff, and then we're like, wait, you live in the same town as me? But yeah, he lives here. Auto Toxic, that's like my best friend for years since I was a kid. He lives here. And then freaking Suboxone, he lives here. A guy named Polar now, who used to be named Alucard, he lives here. And then my friends who you guys probably don't know are like Dave Don't Skate and Citra. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other people here that I'm not friends with, but those are the people that are like acquainted with me or in this scene. Also, you guys probably have heard of the guy who used to be in B&B, I Am Pissed. He doesn't live here anymore, but he's from here, and he went to high school with Otto, and he has the only CD of mine that was ever made, and he has it.
Really, bro, that's sick. The CD part, especially.
Yeah, bro.
So since all of those people live literally like within, I'm guessing like 30, 40 minutes of each other, have you guys thought about putting on a show?
I mean, the thing is people are really busy, and also like around here, the shows that, because like I've been approached to do shows, and I've done shows before, not like recently, not since COVID, but before that, I had done shows of varying degrees. Like, if you're gonna do them in Idaho, at least in northern Idaho, it's always like a house show. It's like, some like crazy thing that could get busted by the cops or something. It's never like an actual real show. But like I had done like one show where my old group was like the headliner, and that was like in Spokane, Washington. Like, but for the longest time, I just didn't even think about doing a show in Spokane because I'm not vaccinated. And in Washington, for the longest time, you couldn't do anything without being vaccinated. So I just didn't go to Washington for like 2 years. Now maybe I could, but I don't really have a lot of friends anymore who, because back in the day, I used to be in a rock band. I used to play keyboard in a rock band, and through that connection, that was how I like got shows. And I used to be friends with a lot of people who were older than me. But now that I'm the age those people were, I'm friends with people who are like 19 to 22. I'm 23 now. So I'm not friends with people who are like older than me for the most part, unless they're like a couple years older. But I'm not friends with people who are like tucked like in with the shit, like the music scene locally, because that kind of stuff here is very much so like I don't know. It's controlled by the people that run the radios and the people that own the business. You know, it's like it's weird here. There's no real scene. It's just fake crap.
Right, right. I do want to bring it back though. You said you were in a rock band. You played the keyboard. What was that? Like, what was the name of the rock band, and what type of music was it?
Oh, I don't want to put on for it too much, bro, because I hate the guy that was in the band. But I will say it was called Saint Augustine and the Disciples. But then it got like switched around a lot. Sometimes it was just Saint Augustine. Sometimes it was the Disciples. Sometimes it was Disciples, and sometimes it was Saint Augustine and the Disciples, which I thought was the best name. But yeah, it was like basically some bullshit New Order, Joy Division copycat crap. Sounded like music that everyone's heard before. It wasn't very good. I didn't get to write any of it or really. I would get in trouble for like dressing too cool. They would be like, "You're stealing the show, bros. Quit dancing. Quit wearing clothes like that." Like the guy who was the leader of the band is a real ass. And locally, everybody kind of doesn't like him anymore because he was a big asshole. He was like connected with tons of people in the music scene locally. It's not a real scene. It's just like this weird bullshit. But yeah, he was really connected, and now everyone hates him. And I was in that band, and it sucked. And everybody else who was in that band hates him now too, and thinks the band sucks too. But it's not like he did anything like terrible. Like it's not like he got canceled. He's just a jerk. He's just a fucking jerk.
Yeah, man, there are definitely jerks out there, and we have to learn how to deal with them.
Yeah, bro. That's why I haven't been in a band since then, man. It's just left a bad taste in my mouth. But I did like performing, and I did like being like in the back. It was kind of cool.
Right, right. All right. So the next question I have for you, what kind of genres did you listen to growing up, and did any of them, and which ones influence your music currently?
I hate to say it because you know it's this thing that everyone makes fun of people for saying, bro. When they say I listen to everything, bro, but literally growing up, and now more so than growing up, I listen to the weirdest, most eclectic, like random combination of shit, bro. Like to just lay it down on you, the CDs that like I was strapped up with when I was like 9 or 10, that I was playing on my Xbox or whatever, was fucking like I had this weird like Japanese music, like I can't even remember what the fucking instrument is called, but the weird ass Japanese looking guitar thing. I had a whole album of that shit. It was called like Yabusha Brothers or something like that. Something Brothers, and I listened to that all the time. I listened to a bunch of AC/DC. I listened to a bunch of Outkast. I would listen to like a ton of stupid comedy music on the internet, like just tons of early meme music, like Ray William Johnson and Smosh shit, and like I listened to all sorts of shit, man. I remember I didn't know what techno was. I kind of had it misrepresented in my head. And one time I told a friend, like a neighbor's dad, that I liked techno, and he was like, "Oh, then you must like this." And he showed me actual techno, so I liked techno. I mean, I liked all sorts of shit, bro. I remember I loved jazz, smooth jazz. I would turn the smooth jazz channel on TV. I would just listen to all sorts of music. I've always seen music as like the way that most people probably see movies, where it's like I just try to watch all types of it and see what I like, bro. It's not really like a. I feel like people get really stuck in trying to be like, I listen to this type of music because I think really what it is they want people to view them a certain way, and they think if they like this music, people will see them a certain way, and that's why they like the music they like. I honestly think that's why most people stick to one genre. But I personally don't give a fuck about what people think about what music I listen to, and I never have, and neither do my parents. They both listen to all sorts of shit, except for my dad. He doesn't like rap. He hates it. He hates rap. But my mom loves it.
Right, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah. Sorry for talking your ear off, bro.
Oh no, dude, that's what this is for. This is for everybody to find out who you are, and I feel like people are gonna come back because I'm gonna put it on YouTube. So I think people are gonna come back, watch it.
If I watch this back, I'm gonna cringe. So
No, you're not. You're really not. You know. Listen. So when you first started making music, how old were you?
Geez. Well, it's embarrassing, kind of. The first time that I ever like recorded original music and posted it, it must have been like 2000, because I was born in 1999, so I had to have been like 9, maybe. So it was probably like 2009 or 8 or 10 or something like that. And I recorded this song with my sister, who's like a year younger than me. And I was playing, or maybe she was. I can't even remember who was playing it, but one of us was playing the keyboard, and we were both singing, and we uploaded it to MySpace. That was and we called ourselves the Angels, I think. And that was literally the first song I ever recorded and wrote and uploaded.
Bro, that's actually crazy. So you were 9 years old making music. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
It's unlistenable, but yeah.
Yeah, but definitely, I can see that you were definitely creative from a young age.
Yeah, I used to act when I was a kid. I used to think I wanted to be an actor. That's like, I used to be in plays when I was a little kid, bro. I was a little idiot, bro. Like, because I grew up really poor, and I guess it was like some sort of birthday present that all my family pitched in on, where I got to go to this acting camp where I just went up to this rich lady's mansion out of town, like with a bunch of other kids every day for like a month until we rehearsed a play and went and performed it in the local playhouse. And she liked me so much, and she knew I was like so broke, that they sponsored me and just let me go back like year after year to these freaking plays that all these rich kids were going to, and I got to go to for free because they liked me. So I was in all these plays when I was a kid, and doing all these acting classes and singing classes and shit like that, and modeling classes, all sorts of shit that goes on at acting camp. And I did that shit. I was the only like poor kid, me and my little sister, at those camps. So I definitely have always been creative, and I was a huge attention whore when I was a kid. Like, huge, obviously. I really liked it when I was younger. Not so much now, but I don't like to admit it to myself, at least. But then I really did like being on stage and stuff.
Right. So were there any like movies that made you want to act? And also, would you still consider yourself an actor?
Definitely not an actor. I'm not a good actor. And also, stage acting is much different than screen acting, and stage acting sucks. That's what I was trained to do, and it's just lame no matter who does it. I don't like plays now. They're stupid. But freaking Hamilton sucks. But the movie that really inspired me a lot actually was Grease, the John Travolta movie. And I was actually in Grease, a play adaptation of it, like a child's play one through the fucking, the acting camp shit. And I was brokenhearted that I didn't get to be John Travolta's character, man. It really hurt my feelings.
Wow. Yeah, that is some that's the type of thing that really gets to you when you're younger. All right. So when you first started making music, and now I'm talking more like SoundCloud type of music, like actual music and everything. What was your original, like, why did you do it? Were you just having fun? Did you want to make some money? Did you want to like get famous?
Well, definitely the money part didn't become a thing until really recently. I'll talk about the money thing later, because it's an interesting thing that I kind of do want to speak on, about how that affects you when money starts to come in. But friggin' the reason why I started was mainly, well, I started making raps because I really started recording and posting music. Like seriously, it was rock music when I was in actually eighth grade. When I was in eighth grade, me and who is Autotoxic now, we made a rock band and we started recording rock music and trying to get bigger online doing rock stuff. And I did that for a few years. So I was already acquainted with the idea of like recording music and trying to promote it and whatever. And then my friend, like an old friend of mine, Joey, who makes music. Oh, I forgot to even mention him, bro. He, fuck, man. He goes by the name Joey Don't or Joey DGAF. He is a legend, literally a legend. I forgot. I'm ashamed I didn't mention him at the top. He is the most goated rapper from Idaho, but he has retired years ago. But he is the best. The whole reason that I even rap and the whole reason my style sounds like the way it does. But he's the one who got me to start rapping. He was the first friend of mine who rapped and did it well and recorded it and was actually cool. And I remember back in the day, I wasn't really into rap because I was like in ninth grade and I was going through like an angsty rocker phase. And I grew up really liking rap, so I was like, "Fuck rap! I'm gonna like rock and punk and stuff like that." But he was really into like, I don't know, man. He just like Mac Miller and like Odd Future, because this is way back, right? So like that's the kind of shit that was underground, was like Odd Future and that kind of shit, and like Kill Bill, even though how corny that guy is now. But he was all into that stuff, and I was like, well, this is different than the rap on the radio. And so I signed him to my stupid little record label, and I became interested in making beats, and then I became interested in rapping on my own beats, and then he came over and we recorded a song together. And then boom, I started rapping, and I started rapping way more than he ever did, and now I have like 300 mixtapes and EPs and albums. So I just caught the rapping bug. I just started doing it and then just boom. Because when I was a kid, I used to rap like on the playground. I would freestyle and I would write raps like in my notebook to impress people. But I never thought about like actually rapping because I'm white and from Idaho. But he hit it with like a sort of artistic rapper thing, and I was like, oh, you don't have to be a gangster to rap. I was like, oh, okay. It opened my eyes, I guess. Because keep in mind, this is like 2013. This is a long time, almost 10 years ago. I'm fucking old.
All right, man. Well, listen, I want to get back to what you said about your discography. How many mixtapes?
Here, wait. Let me go and rate your music right now. I'll give you an actual, a legit number.
All right, cool. Because I want them to hear that.
Okay, 384.
Damn.
But dude, it's not that. I mean, the thing is it's more embarrassing to me than impressive.
Oh no, it's extremely impressive, bro. You don't need to. Yeah, that's crazy. So, out of all 300, are there certain ones that you feel more attached to?
Oh yeah, for certain, dude. Most of them I can't even remember. Like,
Yeah.
literally, most of them I can't even remember. But if I looked at it, I'd be like, well, I remember making this and everything. But most of them I couldn't even name off the top of my head. The thing is I do only have 9 albums, and the albums definitely stand out from the mixtapes. That's for sure, for certain. I mean, the albums are usually, except for my new album, which is my collaborative one, Phony. But besides that, they're basically all completely produced by me. And when I make the albums, or at least those albums, I kind of block out of my mind any sort of thoughts about what the scene or the internet or the listeners might think about it. I just try to not please anybody but myself, and I don't think about anything except for like the actual record and what it stands for artistically as a work of art. And I almost try to think about it like, if I'm the only person that exists on Earth, what does this work of art mean to me? Because I'm making it, so I might as well make it really meaningful and special to me. So that's really what I do when I make the albums. And that's why I only have 9. And I have, a couple hundred mixtapes and EPs. Because especially back in the day, I used to bass freestyle a lot of shit, just make a lot of music that kind of sucked. So there's definitely certain shit that I think is better and I'm more attached to, for sure. Like, I'd honestly say probably 10 to 15% of the music I've made I would recommend anyone listen to. And I try not to do that anymore. I don't make it like a bunch of music anymore. That was kind of something I did when I lived out in the woods and I was like really lonely and bored all the time.
Right. I think it's cool how you said you wouldn't think about what other people are expecting or what other people want you to make. You just kind of make what you want to make, you know? And that's really cool to me.
Yeah. The thing is like, that's not something that I can bring myself to do easily or often. I almost hyperfixate on what people think about me a lot. Like that's I'd say my two weaknesses are that I care way too much deep down about what people think about me, even though I try to exist and tell myself that I don't because I think it's better to not. But I do deep down, I really care, and it's hard for me to get over that. And then my other weakness is that I have like a really short fuse. I get angry, like really angry, really fast. It's embarrassing and not cool. But those are like my two biggest weaknesses. But I try to not care. And when I make my great records, I don't care. That's the big difference. And that's how I can know that it's an album and not mixed, is because it's just obvious to myself. Like, I know you make music, and I know that if you have hit it, you'd get it, and if you haven't yet, you will when you do hit it. It's like when you make like a real album, what feels like to you, what you consider an album in your head, like you finally make it. It ain't no tape. It's like an album. When you make that and it feels satisfying to yourself, it's like that's the most satisfying feeling of music, is like you made something that you don't want to stop listening to for like a week straight until you don't like it anymore for 3 months. And then you go back to it and you're like, this is the best thing I ever made. Like that's the real gratifying, the most gratifying part of making music. And it doesn't happen often, but I try now to make it happen more often. That's why I only really release tapes or albums every month and a half or so instead of every week and a half or every 3 days like I used to. So, I mean, I wouldn't commend me too much for being super independent and not caring, because even though I have successfully done it and made some cool, really unique stuff, most of the time, especially before my boyfriend moved in with me and I moved into my own apartment, back when I was living in this tiny little studio, like almost like basically like Bubbles' shed, right? Like it was a studio apartment thing in the woods on my grandparents' wooded property. That was like where I was living for like 3 years straight. When I lived there, like I was just constantly obsessed most of the time about what people on the internet thought about me. It was almost like my whole life. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I see it to a lot of people, happen to a lot of people, where they fixate on this Instagram, SoundCloud shit like it's more important than real life. And it might sound really trivial to some people, but it just like slips. You just like start to care way more about what people online think than what people in real life think. And it's like dangerous because people online are like mean as fuck.
Damn, that's actually crazy. Yeah, people online can be really mean, and that can really change your view on yourself. You know, your self-esteem can be affected by that.
Yeah, bro. I was really fucked up for a long time on and off, like, but looking back on it, I was probably more fucked up more often than not. And by fucked up, I don't mean like on drugs. I mean like fucked up, you know, just I was fucked up. They had me fucked up. Like I was all just in my head. Like because like I said before, I'm not trying to harp on it. I'm poor as fuck. I don't have like health insurance. Now I do because they changed the laws in Idaho. So thankfully, poor people could get Medicaid. But I didn't have health insurance for a long time, so I never got to go to like no psychiatrist or nothing. But my dad, he's fucking nuts. Like my dad literally he's whatever it's called, like schizotypal or whatever, like where you have schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Like my dad is nuts. And my sister literally has multiple personality disorder. So she's like she's not nuts, but she's got like a super rare mental problem. So who knows if I have some crazy mental problem? Haven't been able to go to the doctor, so I don't know. But looking back on how I acted last summer and stuff, I seemingly was acting insane, like crazy. And knowing my family history with it, I wouldn't be surprised if I was actually crazy. So, the people online, their hate on me, I returned it with like just anger and freaking out and acting bizarre. And it just made people want to make fun of me more. And, it was just a constant dog pile. I think Corona, like once I like had to stay in, like, cause there was like 2 or 3 months where I literally had to stay in this wooded area, couldn't leave the property. And so it's almost like I'm in a fucking prison. And people were just harassing me like crazy at that point, like online. Like it was just unreal. I was getting doxxed and like all this shit. And I think it just sent me down like a downward spiral for the whole time that I lived out there in the woods until like 3 months ago when I moved out here. I think I really was fucking nuts. Like I'm a little drunk now, so I'm going to be candidly honest with you. This is embarrassing, but it's true. It really goes to show how crazy I had gotten out there in the woods. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of the phenomenon that people believe in called the dog man. But he's basically like a Bigfoot-like creature who's like a werewolf, like wolf guy who will kill you. And I heard about this thing on YouTube or something, and I was so crazy that it like scared me to death because I lived out in the woods and I kept like running back and forth from my car in the darkness, scared as a grown man of the dog man. So like, and I'm a guy who's gone camping out in the woods like my entire life. Like I've never been afraid of the dark or afraid of the woods at night. So I was just like going crazy, literally scared of some monster as a grown man. Like, so I lost my fucking mind out there in the woods, and I'm glad to be in the city because since I've been in the city, my mental has been a lot better.
Right, and I do want to say, man, you're not alone with the craziness. Like a couple years back, maybe even a year ago, I went through this huge crazy phase. Just like every day, I would wake up, and be like, "Damn, that's so embarrassing what I did yesterday." So I totally get like the whole crazy thing.
I know, man. The embarrassment of it all is really the worst. And like my dad has done some shit that has scarred me for life, right? Like, and not as in like he abused me, but he like embarrassed himself in front of me as his son so bad that I like can't be a normal person. Like he stripped down naked and like charged like a bull at the police and they almost killed him. And I had to cry and beg them to not shoot my dad and tell them I'm filming and try to beg them to not kill my dad. Or my dad saying that the aliens were here and like locking me in a room telling me I had to hide from the aliens. Like shit like that happening to me as a kid and still happening every single year basically. It happens basically every year. My dad will have some sort of episode. But it started when I was in like 6th grade. And so imagine that. You go your whole, basically up until you're a tween. And so you think you know your dad. My dad was like a good, loving dad to me. So I respected my dad. And then he just goes crazy. And then you kind of lose respect for your dad because you think he's fucking nuts. And it really just had all permanently damaged my relationship with my dad. And now we don't really even treat each other like how most people would treat their dad. And I know some people wish they were more friendly with their dad, but I almost wish that me and my parents had a more parental type relationship because with me and my dad and also my mom, it's more like we're friends. It's like not like they're my role models. It's always since I've been like a tween, it's always been like they treated me like a peer, less of a son. So it definitely like I that informs how I look at myself. So like if I think I'm slipping, I'll be like, if my dad did this, would I think he's fucking nuts? Okay, maybe I shall take a step back. But when I'm going like really crazy, I can't even think about shit like that. I just go. I just go off. Thankfully, it hasn't happened to me for months, but it used to happen all too often. I would just freak out about the most random shit.
Listen, so I want to ask you, somebody in the chat said, OMG, it's J Ding. And they said, ask him about self-loading lads. It's an old group he had in high school.
Dude, what's the username of who asked that?
K6BY.
Oh, that. I have no idea who that would be. Who the fuck would know about that, dude? Dude, okay. So the self-loathing labs was this group that me and my friend, who is no longer my friend because I found him sniffing my sister's underwear and I beat the ever-loving shit out of him. But this kid who used to be my friend, me and him, when we were in high school, I was in 11th grade and he was in 10th grade. One day, after listening to Little B and back in the day, the Pink Guy raps, the Filthy Frank stupid Pink Guy raps, we thought, oh, we should make some really edgy, stupid rap music. So we made what could literally probably be called the worst music ever. Like, I made the beats in like 30-second seats, just putting random loops from different packs that didn't match each other on top of each other, and then we'd rap on them about shooting up the school and cutting our penises and peeing in each other's penises and then getting raped by our dads and being in ISIS. And then it was ridiculous, dude. My friend was black, so I said I hated black people. I'm Jewish. He said he hated Jews. So we were just like trying to make the edgiest thing we could because we were little kids, right? And fucking then it blew up on 4chan, like within days, like blew up. And Anthony Fantano, he wrote, because he had a series on YouTube at one point that was called It Came from Bandcamp. But before it was a video series, it was a blog post series. And in the very first blog post, he talks about the self-loathing lads. And it's funny because Anthony Fantano, right? Super PC, super liberal. Why did he promote an openly racist, murdering, promoting rape? I mean, it was a terrible album. I'll admit it. It was literally everything bad. And that was the point of it because we were kids. We were trying to make it as bad as possible. But Anthony Fantano, maybe someone should cancel him for promoting that album. But fucking, he promoted it and he gave it a joke review. He was like, thank you to the self-loathing lads for answering our cries to what does it all mean? What does it all mean? Because the album was called The Memeing of Life. And so basically, I got expelled from school, and so did Terrence, for this album. And I took it down, and it doesn't exist anywhere on the internet, and no one will ever hear it because it's terrible, and I say things that will get me done.
Bro, that is crazy. The person who asked, their name is Weeps.
Oh, it's Cody. Kobe. I'm drunk. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's Kobe. I know who that is. He set me up, bro. He set me up. Bruh,
That's crazy.
That's an embarrassing story. I'll tell you, it's embarrassing, bro. But it's also kind of harrowing because I did get expelled and almost arrested over raps. But it was raps where like I literally threatened to like blow up the school and named people by name. So like of course I would get in trouble for that.
All right, so listen. The next thing we're gonna get into is a pretty crazy topic. Okay, the next thing we're gonna get into is So Evil Boys. I'm pretty sure half the people in this they want to hear about it, man. So give us the details. When did So Evil Boys start? And what was it? Was it a group chat?
I honestly don't know how it started. To be honest, I'm nowhere near an original member of So Evil Boys. I am probably one of the. I'm the second newest member actually, because the only new guy who's been added since me was Problem, but he hasn't done anything with the group, so I wouldn't really even consider him a member yet, at least. But freaking me and Fardnan, we joined at the same time, and that was a few months ago, like January, and so I wasn't in the group at the beginning. I can't give you much history of So Evil Boys, but I could give you the history of how I got into So Evil Boys. I mean,
Totally, give it to us.
all right. So Acid Soldier is my cousin, long distance, like a million times removed, barely even my cousin. But we, so we didn't even like, we were not making music together at all at the beginning because he lives in Texas, I live in Idaho. We were not close back then, and like, fucking, he was making the music. I was making the music first because I started rapping in 2014, but really got into this scene in like 2019. And that was when, like, about the time he started rapping, 2018, 19, something like that. And freaking, because he's younger than me by a few years. And I tried to get him to make music with me a lot, right? And this is something Acid Soldier probably doesn't want me to say, but he's notorious for being a flake. He'll tell you that he'll do something, but he doesn't mean that he's actually planning on doing it. I think he has a really hard time saying no to anybody, or at least he used to. And so back in the day, if you were like a big enough rapper that he wouldn't charge you and you asked him to do a song, he would always say yes, but he wouldn't always actually do it. So that was like, that used to be a huge thing for Acid Soldier for me. So anytime I would send him beats, he wouldn't use them. Anytime I'd send him an open he said he wanted, he wouldn't use it. So for a long time, I just didn't send him shit because I didn't think he cared. But we talked a lot, obviously because we're cousins and shit. And he was like, when I was going through it, when I was like crazy and shit, I used to talk to him a lot and ask for advice, or at least just vent to him, and he would help me feel better about the music stuff. He's always been a really, really good friend to me. And I guess through that, and also him, because he always listened to my music, he just didn't make music with me for a long time. He would repost my shit and stuff, but he just never wanted to make music with me, maybe because he thought I was too corny or something back then. But he never made music with me for the longest time until Chisel World 2, almost exactly a year ago. It was more like May of last year. He freaking made Chisel World 2 with Chisel, but Chisel spilt like a drink all over his laptop, and he broke his laptop, and he couldn't DJ the fucking tape. So I've been working with Chisel for years. He was literally the first guy I ever bought a beat off of in 2017. And Acid's my cousin, and we're close, and he likes my music. So they decided, well, if Chisel can't do it, they're like, okay, we'll just get Jaden to do it because he is a good DJ and he is our close friend. So I was allowed to be the replacement DJ for Chisel on Chisel World 2. And then Acid and Chisel both agreed that I was a better DJ than Chisel. And I just became Acid Soldier's DJ. And from there, I got let into So Evil Boys like 6 months later after DJing every Acid Soldier song for like 6 months. It took a lot of hard work, but I finally got into So Evil Boys. I actually thought I was never going to get in because they kept telling me, you're going to get in. We're just waiting for the right time. And you just got to prove yourself. And I thought they were lying to me. And I would actually talk to all my friends like, I think this fucking guy is lying to me, bro. I think he's fucking manipulating me. But actually, no, I'm in. So I've been in Acid Soldier's crew, So Evil Boys since about January or December, something like that, about the beginning of the year.
Congratulations, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Listen.
dude,
So
it was hard, bro.
yeah, for people who have never heard of So Evil Boys, what is it like? Acid Soldier. It sounds like he's the leader of it, or the.
Well, so basically, the leaders are the three founding members who are still left: CP, Chris, Too Easy, and Acid Soldier. Acid Soldier, Chris Too Easy, and CP. CP, he does not rap. He's just a producing member, but he is the brain, man. Like, if it wasn't for CP, there would be no So Evil Boys. He is like the manager almost, like, and I don't mean like music manager. He's like the general manager, like of a store. You know what I mean? He keeps it going.
Okay, and who's CB? Where does he live? What kind of beats
He's
does he
from New
make?
York. He makes like he makes all sorts of beats, but mainly he's popular for making like drill beats or glow beats. A lot of shit that's either like he's from New York, so his shit's definitely got like the big slidey 808s. But he makes a lot of Chicago style beats. Like he makes a lot of Chief Keefy beats, shit like that. But he can do anything. He's honestly kind of just popular for the Chief Keefy beats. But he can do anything. He made a whole house album, and like he's goated, bro. He is a great producer. He's got that really like almost radio rap sound, like just hi-fi. But there's like of all the guys from New York and So Evil Boys, there's CP, Chris Too Easy, and Xavier So Bass. They're all from New York. I don't know what boroughs they're from, but they're all from New York City. And yeah, they're the only people in So Evil Boys who live in the same city.
That's wild, man. Can you tell me a little bit more about Chris Too Easy?
Oh yeah, man, he's goated, bro. He's like I would say him and Acid Soldier are the twin faces of the group. Like I would say them and CP are the leaders, but Chris and Acid are definitely the faces of the group. They dude, I'm going to a new brew, bro. I'm gonna get more drunk. Sorry about that, bro.
No, you're
It's so
good.
fucking good.
That just makes it even better.
Chris is like, okay, Chris and Acid, they're both the leaders, and they're like the for the longest time they were the most popular guys in So Evil Boys. Now it's a little more even. I'm like the least popular rapper, but the rest of the rappers are all kind of equally as popular. But back in the day, Chris and Acid were by far the most popular people in the group. Still, they are like the leaders. They're the most dedicated to the group. I would say me, CP, Cheezel, Chris and Acid, we're the most dedicated to So Evil Boys. And like everybody in it, we're all in it, but my whole thing is So Evil Boys, especially Chris and Acid. All they live for is the SEB sound. The SEB sound really relies on whatever Chris and Acid want to do. And friggin' Chris, really how I'm getting to describing Chris is like, well, first, before I describe his music, I will say he's a really nice guy, to me at least. And the things that he said to me and the encouragement he's given to me, like, I'll never forget it. He's been so nice to me. He's like, he asked me for my phone number months ago, even before I was in So Evil Boys. He would call me, he would talk to me, he texts me all the time, tells me how much he appreciates all the work I do for him. He'll just cash at me random money sometimes and just be like, thank you for everything you do for me, bro. He is the best. He's a really nice guy and he's really down to earth, just like Acid Soldier. But besides that, if I was trying to describe his music, the way I would really go about describing him is like, if you could compare him to Acid Soldier, because they kind of use the same beats and they have the same DJ, me. So like Chris, he raps way faster and he's got that New York swag, right? He's from New York, so he hits it with those New York flows And Acid Soldier, he's from Texas, so he raps real slow with that Texas flow. That's the real big difference, to be honest. And also, Acid Soldier's white, so he sounds like nerdy as fuck compared to Chris. But Chris is like, he goes hard. I mean, in my opinion, he's probably like the hardest rapper in So Evil Boys. Because if I'm gonna break down all the rappers in So Evil Boys, I would say like Chris, he does really fast, clever, hard as fuck shit. And Danny, he does like he's just got so much swag in his voice. Like he's just got this weird. I don't want to do an impression of him because I'm kind of drunk, but he does like he's got this weird rasp to his voice and he elongates his words. It's just a swag that is unreplicatable. Acid Soldier, you know, he raps so simple that it's perfect. If anyone copies Acid Soldier, it's painfully obvious because it's like the easiest way to rap in the world, but he did it first, so if anyone does it after him, it just sounds like him. Like, sorry, but he did it first. And fucking Xavier, he sings in such like a weird, soft, pluggy way, but it's weird and kind of offbeat sometimes, or just sounds different than you would expect it to. It's never predictable, and that's what's so cool about Xavier. And then I guess the last rapper who isn't me would be Cheezel. He raps sometimes, and he just hits it with the super dope Detroit-style flows, even though he's from Virginia. And I just had to go and break down everyone's style, because if I was going to talk about Acid and Chris, I just felt like I needed to talk about everybody else.
No, definitely. I'm glad all our viewers are getting all this information. I love the Detroit flow. It's crazy to me. Now the next question I want to ask is a pretty big question. And everybody, I'm sure they want to know. Where did the name kenopro79 come from?
Okay, now you're getting to another big ass fucking story. Okay, so I don't know, you probably know, but maybe not everybody viewing will know that I used to be called DJ and Pitsu or DJ Pit, but like in September of last year, I changed my name to kenopro79. And the reason why I changed my name is because I went on this road trip to Kalispell, Montana to see my uncle get married. And while I was over there, like the whole time I was on that trip, I was just getting like harassed like crazy because it just used to happen to me so much. I was just getting harassed by this one guy like crazy. And he was making new accounts to DM me and shit. And making like tracks on SoundCloud with like weird cum tribute pictures of me on them and shit. And like he was just harassing me like crazy. And I went on that vacation and I was just thinking about that in the back of my head, like this sucks, I hate music, blah blah blah. And then when I went to the wedding, keep this in the back of your mind because this will come into play later. When I went to the wedding, there was this one joke that happened where my now aunt Hope told me, she's like my age, even though she's married to my uncle. She's like, your Uncle Tanner, he screwed up the forms to Social Security to change my name, and he wrote down my birthday as 1997 instead of 1990. And then my Uncle Tanner was like, well, 7's just a cooler number than 9. I mean, might as well change it to 7. And we were all drunk as fuck, and we all thought that was hilarious. So that stuck with me. Then when I went home from the fucking, not home, but went to my cousin Caleb's house from the wedding, I asked him, hey bro, there's all these casinos everywhere because gambling's illegal in Idaho unless you're on the Indian reservation, but it's legal in Montana. And so there's casinos on every corner. There's literally a casino in every strip mall, a casino in every gas station, everywhere in Montana. And so I was like, bro, there's casinos everywhere. You want to go to a casino? I've never gambled in my entire life. And he's like, his girlfriend starts freaking out. She's like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do Keno. It will eat your soul away. It's a dragon you don't want to chase. Talking about it like it's heroin. And I'm like, what the fuck is Keno? And then they start to try to explain it to me. And I'm like, that sounds like Minesweeper, bro. What the fuck? And they're like, it's not like Minesweeper. She gets so mad that she storms off to bed. My cousin is like, dude, I'm so sorry about that. To be honest, we left the wedding early because she wanted to go to the casino to play Keno, and we just lost $280. He was like, I would go with you, but I just lost $80 of my own money. I don't want to go to the casino again. And I was like, respectable. And I'm like, what the fuck is Keno? And he tried to explain it to me. And I'm like, that just sounds like Minesweeper. Because for all y'all who don't know what Keno is, I'll explain it how they explained it. You have a grid of 80 squares, and you pick anywhere from 1 to 15 squares. It's kind of the opposite of Minesweeper. You know how in Minesweeper, you want to pick the squares that don't get picked? Like you want to pick the squares that don't have the bomb on them or whatever, you know? In Keno, you want to pick the squares that have the bomb on them or whatever. Like it's basically the opposite of Minesweeper. And you gamble on it. And fucking I was like, that just sounds like Minesweeper. I'm like, sounds lame. I don't want to gamble. Waste of money. Go to sleep. Then I drive home the next day. I stop at a gas station in this place called Libby, Montana. And there, like I said, every gas station has a casino in it. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go to the casino. I've never gambled. I'll see what it's about. Because to be honest, I wanted to see how pathetic it was. I actually didn't think it would be fun or cool at all. I just wanted to observe how pathetic it was. But the least that I could take out of the ATM, of course, was $20. So I got $20 out of the ATM. I go into the casino. The casinos in Montana are not like what you think of when you think of a casino. They're about as big as my apartment, and they're just a dark room full of machines and old people. And it's sad, and all they play is sad Fleetwood Mac songs. It is not cool. It is not like a normal casino. I've gone to plenty since then, and I know the difference. But then I went to this gas station casino. I sit down at the machine. They're all the same machine. They're called, actually, I don't even know what the fuck they were called because they were made by Namco, and those aren't legal in the states that I've gambled in since then. But they were these weird Namco machines that were multi-game, and I played slots at first. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. And then I played video poker, and I'm like, I don't know how to play this. And then I'm like, okay, let's try Keno, because those were your three options in Montana. And so I go to Keno, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Then I turn my $20 all the way down to $2. When I'm at $2, I win $40. Keep in mind, I'm betting 15 cents at a time, and I'm doing it as fast as I can. I purposely turn the sound off and the speed all the way up because I thought, I'm like, okay, I won't be messed with by the ringing bells. I'm just going to see if I win or not. And it turns out I won $40 off of $20, and I'm like, now I got $42. I doubled my money. I'm going to cash out. I go and cash out. The lady is like, that's something, I guess. And then in Montana, there's this weird rule where in the casinos, the dealers have to give you money out of a wallet. They don't give it to you out of a cash. Like, they have a wallet in their back pocket that looks like their own wallet. They pull out a wallet and they give you money, and they act upset about it. I feel like this is a rule. Like, because after that happened, I called my mom and I told her, you're talking to a high rolling gambler. I just won $40 on Keno. And she's like, you should take that $2 and go to whatever casino you can see. And I'm like, I can see like 5. I'll go to the closest one. I took the $2 that I had left over to that next casino, turned that into $60. And then when the e-girl chick who was because it was a fat old lady at the first one and it was an e-girl at the second one, they both had to give it to me out of their fake wallet, and they both acted really upset to give me my winnings. And it's funny, man. It's just like weird because that is not like that in any other state I've ever been in. But for some reason, I realized the only reason that I won all that money off Keno that day was because I knew when to walk away. Most people who gamble, and probably me nowadays, I would sit at that machine and play my winnings till I didn't have them anymore because I just wanted to keep playing, you know? And that's what most people do when they go to the casino. They bring $100, they win $100, and they play that extra $100 and maybe some of their original 100 and they leave down, even if they won, because they wanted to stay longer, because it's fun. But the casinos in Montana are not fun. And I went in there and I left instantly the second I won. And that was why I had money. And I realized to myself, I cashed out and I walked away and I did better than probably anyone else who was trying really hard to get millions of dollars. And they're probably going to walk away with zero, negative. And then it made me realize I have to quit being DJ Pitt and start anew with the rap game because I've been trying so long on this one game. I just need to walk away. I need to cut my losses. And then I'm like, okay, I'm the Keno Pro. And then I was like, okay, I want it to be like a gamer tag or like an online gambling username. So I'm like, kenopro79 because that's my birthday. And then I was like, change the 7 to a 9 because the story I told you earlier about my uncle. kenopro79. That's how I got the name.
That is a legendary story, bro. I have to admit it.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. So we're at the hour mark. But I do have one more question.
All right, bro.
So I was looking through your discography, and I found something on Bandcamp. It's pretty recent, actually. Really recent. It's called Internet Girlfriend.
Internet Girlfriend? Are you sure?
Go to your Bandcamp. It's literally like the 8th thing on there.
Internet Gentrified, bro.
Yeah, Internet Gentrified. I've been reading Girlfriend this whole time.
Well, there's a song called My Girlfriend on there, so that's how you got fucked up.
But tell me about that. What were you doing when you recorded?
Oh, bro, that was during a really, really, really dark time. Basically, so I got together with my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, and they only knew each other really over the internet, but she happened to live in Idaho, and she is fucked. I'm not going to name drop her or name drop anybody, but I'm just going to say that she is fucked. Like, crazy evil. She believes in pedophilia and bestiality, and she has a fetish for pee and poo, and she's just disgusting. I've come to know. That's why she's not my girlfriend anymore. But she was my girlfriend for a while, and that was when I made that album. And a lot of those songs are about her and the mental space I was in while dating her. And it's honestly, probably I'll never listen to it again because it's too painful for me to listen to. But I do think that the title is interesting. The reason why I said Internet Gentrified is the title is about like white people, even though I'm white, I'm not trying to make some weird thing. I'm just saying like white people kind of like co-opted rap music and turned it into like hyper pop, which is like so white that it's kind of corny to some people. I don't know. That's what Internet Gentrified was about. It was like white kids taking over black culture on the internet and making it their own and stealing it. That's what the name was about.
All right. We do have one more question because some of the viewers, they want to know, actually 2 of them. They said to ask about Moms Only.
All right, bro. Moms Only. This is a good thing to cut it out on. Friggin' Moms Only. When I started rapping, I founded this rap group called Moms Only, and it was actually originally called Moms Only Orgy or Invited Bitch, but we shortened it to Moms Only. And it was a bunch of local rappers, and it fluctuated through different local rappers as I was in high school and out of high school. And then as I started to get some clout online, people online joined. And that kid who asked the question about self-loathing lads, he was in it. And like, I mean, let me look on Bandcamp real quick at the total members of Moms Only. I'll read them out loud for y'all. I'll read the list of everybody that was in Moms Only ever. And I'll just say this. This was a rap group that I was the leader of that existed from 2014 or 15. And it disbanded officially the 26th of February. I'm drunk. The 26th of September 2021. Moms Only. I was the leader. It was my rap group. And this is everybody that was ever in Moms Only. Myself, Terrence, the kid that I beat up, Jake the Lotopus, King Lazy, Drippy Witch, Autotoxic, Orbital 64, Merkaba, Alpha 6, Young Mantis, Pretty Boy Salamander, Big Flippy, Omega Factor, Weeps, Majin Buddha 681, Lil Holographic, Lil Reets, Hedora, Too Deep in the Game, Shrumigami, Hell Gillies, El Diabito, Taylor, Indo, Joey Don't Give a Fuck, CST, Oscar, O3 Oscar, Trident God, Fractured Iron, Dex God, Tendexamo, April Aberdeen, Worm Clit, Zofrin, Young Desecrator, Weep 200, Pop Monster, B77 Beats, LJ, Eternity God, Res Lane, and Zornov. That's everybody that was ever in Mom's.
Holy
That's really the
shit!
only explanation you need.
That is a lot of members, bro. The two that stuck out to me were Omega Factor and Oscar. Both of them I've worked with, and they're both really cool.
Bro, they're cousins, bro. They're cousins. I've met both of them in real life. I ate burgers with both of them that were bought by Oscar's father in Oscar's backyard. I flew over to Maine to hang out with them. I used to be best friends with Omega Factor. Sadly, we're not friends anymore over some beef that I really don't even remember what started it. I was crazy, and it was when Oscar and Omega left Moms Only. They left Moms Only, and I was really crazy, and I freaked out, and I actually didn't really care that much about Oscar leaving, but Omega, he was like my best friend, and it really hurt my feelings that he left, and I was crazy, and so I did some like almost like ex-boyfriend shit. I was just a complete weirdo, and we're not friends anymore. But it's really my fault. But I'm not friends with Oscar. He's just weird. Personally, he's weird. He unfollows me and refollows me like every 6 months. But Max, Omega Factor, we used to be best friends, but I fucked it all up. But they are legends, especially Omega Factor. He is a legend.
I love it, bro. All right, so it looks like it's about time to wrap up. I did want to let you know, you're a legend, bro. You are a legend, and you're a big influence on a lot of people. So, I think this interview is gonna do really good.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm happy to be on here, bro. It's nice to I don't know, bro. It's nice to have you asking me questions, bro. I've never had this shit happen to me before, so it's cool.
Yeah, before I did this, I went on YouTube and looked up kenopro79 interview, like expecting there to be an interview, and there wasn't one. So I'm super excited to be the first.
Yeah, bro, this is legendary.
All right, man. We're definitely gonna have a future interview at some point, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you go.
All right, bro. Peace out. Have a good night.
Yeah, man. All right. Viewers, if you don't already follow, go ahead and throw me a follow so you know when I drop. I stream every day. Cool. Tubehead44. Also shout out Nutgoth for the follow. Shout out Longsleeve. Shout out Tubehead, and shout out Dead Feds. Y'all are real as fuck, legendary members. All right.